Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Sith Happens. I am Eric the Dadalorian, and I want to welcome you to episode 8. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, whose ideal date involves toys,
That escalated quickly.
his legs long walks on the beach on Scarif. He's the bantha to my fodder. He is Matty Ice.
Hello there. I am Matty Ice, otherwise known as Black Series Daily Desk over on Instagram. Come check out my photos. And honestly, I was going to do that joke, the Bantha Poodoo joke, but I do have to say, my friend, that is why I am the C to your booba. So
Good
I think
stuff.
I'm excited. We were just
That's a
talking
good
about
intro.
the episode.
That's a good intro with Phantom Menace coming up this week. So
Absolutely. I'm going on Monday next week. It's like how I'm doing. I have friends flying in for May the 4th.
Yep.
3 days of binging. And then I'm going to see Phantom Menace again in the theaters. I'm stoked.
Yeah, me and my buddy, we took Friday off of work, and we're actually going to go see it at the theater down here in Florida. So I can't freaking wait. And you could bet your ass I'm buying that overpriced tub of popcorn and the cup.
Oh, was that AMC? I forget.
It is, I think so, because that's where I got the tickets from.
Oh yeah, my biggest regret is Jedi. I didn't get that poster when I went almost exactly a year ago. I went on May the 3rd.
I did
to see Return of the Jedi. I got to tell you, and then we can get into all that shit. Because we have so much, everybody. You're really going to love this episode. Yes. Not only do we have the batch, but we're doing some new segments. We've been pumped because we missed last week. So the boys got a lot of juice in them, a lot of spice in our veins.
We got some making up to do because we're on a double header episode for this week, basically.
Yeah. You're gonna get to see. We're doing one and then we're doing two. So you're gonna get the double the Matt and Eric, double the Dadalorian. And all that Black Series double daily desk. But yeah, man, I actually Return of the Jedi, and then we can go into it. Like, I can recite the movie. You can recite the movie. And it kind of came to me at the end. I was like, I'm going to get to see Hayden's Anakin on the big screen.
Oh,
and I just started
it that way.
Getting the lump in my throat. And it was when my wife, who was at that point, not even my fiance, we got married quick. But so we were moving on May the 4th. So on May the 4th, we watched Visions on a coffee table that we had just put in. But I was coming home and she was just like, was your phone on Do Not Disturb? I've never seen you do that. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And I remember I came and she was like, how was it? Because my wife loves Star Wars too. She's like, I wanted to go, but I had to pack. And I was like, started telling her about seeing Hayden on the screen for the first time. I just started crying in the streets of Manhattan. Oh man. So I think Phantom Menace, I'm definitely gonna have a moment or two there as well. Maybe when the double lightsaber ignites.
Yes, listen. So I remember seeing it in theaters when I was 9 years old, man. So for me, it's gonna be like the nostalgia of nostalgia, because the first one I saw in theaters was Return of the Jedi, and that's what got me into it.
Yeah, you told me,
during the re-release in the 97, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then Phantom Menace was like the bringing me into the prequels, and like when the whole Star Wars craze really began all over again. So, but I digress, man, because we got a lot to cover today.
I'm the king of digression.
Yes. So we got a great episode of the Bad Batch to cover. We're going to be going into our collector's corner segment, and at the very end of the show, we're starting up our very own Sith Happens hot takes, guys. Me and Matt might get into a couple arguments on this one, but it's okay. I still love him for the son of a bitch he is. So
that's right. As long as we don't get into politics in Star Wars, although that Trade Federation, whew. But I guess is this the point where we give the alert?
Yes, so if you guys are tuning in today, spoiler alert. If you guys have not seen the most recent episode of the Bad Batch, we would recommend that you do not watch this part of the episode, primarily because it's going to spoil the episode for you. But that being said, this upcoming week is the finale, so if you haven't watched it yet, then you are missing out.
Dude, and I will say this, maybe from now on, hot take of an idea. At this point, let's give everybody the timestamp of when they can tune back in after the Bad Batch. So you get our glorious voices. You can, that's something I think. I have a friend who listens to us in his car on the way to work. So, he watches the Bad Batch, but, for our many listeners, that time, don't look at your phone when you're in your car, though. Like, get the timestamp going early. Like, maybe the intro, then the timestamp.
What we'll do is I'll actually go ahead and put it down in the visuals right here so you guys can check it. I'll tell you where the to jump to in the ahead in the episode, so you can skip the spoilers and everything like that. But
Yep, get your FTL going.
yes, but spoiler alert, done and over with. So now we had an awesome episode this week. So these single episodes we've talked about how sometimes they can be a little lackluster, but this week was awesome and there was so much in it. So I'm gonna give my little breakdown. So we had Bad Batch, episode 14, Flash Strike. The episode opens as the Batch and Rampart attached to the science vessel headed towards Tantus. Their presence is detected immediately as they enter atmosphere and are attacked by a squadron of V-Wing fighters. Omega feels the cannons firing from the base and realizes her brothers have arrived to rescue her. The Batch is shot down but manages to rappel into the jungle before the ship crashes. Omega breaks into the medical port in her holding cell to discover a way out. During this, Echo is discovered by an Imperial droid who lends him a hand, as we will say, and gains access to the facility. The group is discovered in the jungle after being attacked by a bear thing. I don't know what the hell it's called, to tell you the truth. And Rampart is
Monster
captured.
of the week.
Yeah, there's always a monster of the week, bro. And this one has two. Well, this one's got two, which we'll talk about.
Yeah,
And then Rampart is captured by stormtroopers. And then as Omega makes her way through the walls, she actually discovers Monster of the Week number 2, a Zillo Beast being held on Tantus. I was pretty pumped about that.
yeah,
actually.
we're going to talk about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Omega makes it back to her cell just in time to avoid being caught. Echo is discovered by Emery trying to find out where Omega is, where it appears Emery may be turning against Dr. Hemlock finally, as she tells Echo she'll help free the other children and clones inside of Tantus, leading us to the finale next week of our favorite misfit group of clones.
I hate that last sentence. I do. I love that last sentence, but I hate that last sentence. You know, like,
listen, this next week is going to be an emotional roller coaster, man. Because, like, dude, this has been the best season of any animation of Star Wars we've ever seen.
100%. 100%. You can't beat it. I mean,
there's not been one episode that's been below 5 rating or something like that.
No.
Actually, I think the lowest rating we've had was 7.
I think I might have gone a little lower for the episode before this, but having seen this episode, we'll get into this in my rating. It's the last episode. It felt like the chess pieces. It was almost like that needed to be a double episode with this episode, and we'll get into that.
Made a good double episode.
Yeah, you needed that little bit. It was like a sandwich, and you only let me have there wasn't enough meat on it. But at the same time, there's a lot of good seasoning, and I think I just want to say, because I got the chills when you did the recap, and it is the moment of this episode. I waited all day. You sent me our script at 4 because usually I watch before you, but you got to watch before me last week because I was sick. And
that usually don't happen.
and I got the script. I'm up at 6 a.m. watching these guys because Eric and I moderate a great Facebook page and we say no spoilers, but I sometimes have to kill spoilers, and that ain't happening. I'm internet banned for the day other than talking to this gentleman, and that's really it. But I skipped the script. It was hard for me to read the script, and I skipped your So it was like I went and
highlighting that in red.
Yeah. It was just I didn't want to see it, and you said it there, and it gave me the chills. And those cannons, and when she looks up and goes, "My brothers are here," I was just chills. This is it. It's going, and the way she looked up, and we talk about this mirroring live action all the time, and it would work in live action, but it's great in animation. And we think about all the great animation moments, the Juggernaut chase that was Mad Max. You talk about Saj Ventress, and that fight, that crisp, beautiful fight that was surreal into that realism. Her looking up, that's like a moment for me that my brothers are here. That's one of my moments in the show that I'll always remember.
I think I couldn't agree more, man, because honestly, as soon you saw the table shaking, you heard the cannons firing, and the way that she looks up and says that, there was so much emotion within that. I couldn't believe it. Yeah,
the acting is phenomenal. And I think the thing about this episode that was great was, first of all, I'm just going to say we have to have an extended episode on Wednesday. There's no way you can land this plane. Rebels did the 44-minute finale. I think it'd be beautiful if we did a 75-minute finale, like a 75-minute first episode. That's greedy, but you're not. There's so many theories, and I'll get into some of those that I've read that I've sent one to you. It's like your dream theory. But this is going to set up other things. I think obviously all the cartoons do. But landing this plane's going to be tough in 22 minutes or 21 minutes.
No lie.
Yeah.
These last 2 episodes that we have coming in off of this episode are going to be amazing. But
Yeah.
honestly, this episode just had so much. This episode had a lot to it, even though it was a short episode because we had, them coming and that emotion behind, her, my brothers are here to rescue me. And then I know the one I freaked out on was the Zillow Beast because from the last season, when it was Metamorphosis, I think was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
And now it's like this is 100% going to play a piece in it, and I'm excited and curious to see how it does it.
Yeah, my debunk for that I think is going to be I got to look at what Mando episode was the week of Metamorphosis because I remember it was like 2 hard-hitting episodes that night where it was like, how do we get the Zillow Beast in this? So that'll be my debunk for next week. We finally solved the debunk from 3 weeks ago that we'll get to at the end of this, but
Yes.
I'm going to figure out what that Mando episode was because if I'm right, I just remember going nuts. But the Zillow Beast has like a really special place in my heart. Because when I started watching the Clone Wars on Netflix, when I really started getting me far more back into Star Wars, when that started being on, I started watching like when they started streaming it. The Zillow Beast episode to me is one of the first episodes where you're like, ooh, they're going for something here. This doesn't just have to be Star Wars. This is like a Godzilla movie. This is like and it's a sad ending. It's a King Kong kind of style ending. And it even starts talking about maybe cloning it, getting into like what Project Necromancer is. Is that why they're holding it there? Like, what's he going to build? And it's one of those creatures that like, if you watch the cartoons, you hold so dear and you know the damage it could do. So, hopefully if people didn't watch Clone Wars and they're watching this series, which why? But if they are, no shade, fan as you want to. But from last season, like it's a baby Zillow Beast, right? So like kind of what it can do. But I feel like we're gonna really see what an angry Zillow Beast can do.
I think we're fixing to see that thing.
There's no way that's not foreshadowing. It's not fan theory. That's going to be. And it reminded me, it was so cool the way there was somebody just had to perpetually keep it down, right? Like there's a guy whose whole job is to make sure it goes back in the water.
Yeah, the holding cell for that thing was insane, and like, when she found that, I just can't wait to see where it goes. Honestly, like I'm not sure how they're gonna something's gonna happen where they break it out. I feel, but
absolutely.
I'm not sure what will happen with it from that point. So
I was just imagining the stormtrooper that's his job. To like shoot the thing to shock it to keep it down. Like there's shifts. There's like a stormtrooper with like a lunchbox, like like whistling. It kind of like gets in there every morning and it's like, what do you do here? He's like, shoot the Zillow Beast. I'm the 8-hour shift starting at 8 p.m.
Like it's like, what is it? It's like the Robot Chicken episode. Gary, you promised to take her to work today. No.
That really hits me where I live. What have you done with those plans? Gary here never sees his daughter because of people like you.
100%. That's but yeah, no, I mean that was my like third thought after the elation of the Zillow Beast. And really cool thing I thought of that I wanted to bring up to you was, Wrecker, and I don't know if this was intentional. It was intentional to me, and if I'm reading into it, I'm going to take the kind of emotion it gave to me. You talk about like arc of a character. He hates heights, and he was like the first one to be like, let's repel and swing out of the ship. And it's like, that's how much Omega meant to him. He's talking about scaling the cliff. Like, he doesn't hate heights. He's to get there. He's got to free the clones. He's got to free Omega. And, as much emotional arcing that arcing that Wrecker can do. I'm an ARC trooper this one. Imagine that at home. Like I just have like a wire. No, but I'm gonna ARC trooper this open can of soda. My dog drink caffeine. But as it flies in slow motion. But no, like as much as he can have, which is not really what that character is based around, that felt to me a little like that, at least. Also, you and I have talked about this a billion times. So Hunter's not able to sense monsters again?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I mean, it's one of those things where like it's a plot convenience, I think.
Yeah, do you ever? I don't know if you've seen the movie Thank You for Smoking, where Rob Lowe's like the little lobbyist for smoking, and I call it the whatever device, where they're like, and then they're smoking, he's pitching a movie. He's like, then they're smoking on a spaceship. They're like, wait, it's pure oxygen on a spaceship. Oh, there's a way around that. Just say thank God for the whatever device. So like, whenever I find a plot hole, I'm like, thank God for the whatever device. But enough about Rob Lowe. Yeah, it was tremendous. It's a great setup. It's one of those episodes like the previous week where it's a little thin, right? Like there's enough to sink your teeth into, kind of, but it's sort of all setting you up. Like if the next episode's 44 minutes, think of the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. Now you're getting a movie finale of this, right? And that's really like what I think they're doing.
We talked about it offline. I think how long is this finale supposed to be?
The rumor is like 71 minutes, but I would venture to guess like 44, like a double episode, like Rebels style, a double episode.
Yeah,
kind of closes out. Which, by the way, is probably like my favorite Star Wars finale. I mean, Clone Wars, yes, but like Clone Wars as far as like impact. Let's see what happens here. But Rebels has the spirit of Star Wars in a way, and so did that finale. So that I really liked.
And this might be a like hot take in of itself, but I couldn't agree that had one of the best endings for a show, even though I was not like a huge fan of Rebels. Like I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was like fantastic. Clone Wars kind of just is better for me personally. Like Rebels just had way too much of that kid feel for me to really enjoy.
So that's what
I thought the ending was pristine. Perfect.
Oh, I mean, when you forget that, Hera's even out there, and they open with that episode with they get Hondo, and he's like, "For that boy, there's nothing I wouldn't do," and you forget they're kind of locked onto that ship, and they have that funny moment about how many times have you crashed with them, and you kind of forget, and you're like, "What's the plan?" They surrendered, and then the ghost shows up and starts blasting stuff, and it's just like da 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 da, da and you're just like, it get chills, like and they go in the cave, and he's got the lightsaber, like that is landing the plane, because like you said, even if you watched it because we watch everything and you enjoyed it, but it wasn't the to you the creme de la club.
Yeah,
it didn't hit what you were talking about. In this instance, that finale nailed it, and that's why I'm kind of like, Clone Wars is all this emotional baggage, and there's no way for that not to be a great. Like, I mean, they're just killing on season finales or series finales.
I think that's why Clone Wars holds a much closer place in my heart, just because, like, I mean, two of my favorite characters in Star Wars are both clones.
Yeah, 100%. The original 99, and then you like Bowser. What was that kind of? I'm just kidding.
No. my boy Five's an Echo, man. My boy Five's an Echo.
That's my favorite clones. It's always like they introduce one. It's like, this is Buckshot, and then like 5 minutes later, oh no, Buckshot.
They introduce these ones with these badass names, and then 3 seconds later, the plane crashes. It's like, damn, dude. All right.
R.I.P. Oddball.
But then you get ones like Tup, who lasts almost the whole season.
Yeah, it took me probably my second rewatch of that series to start picking out anybody that was an Echo, Fives, and Rex and Cody. Like, it took me a while, and then I was like, oh, that's tough. That's Kix. That's, Appo always eludes me. I'm like, oh, right, that's Appo.
Appo's, his helmet's a little bit more, gets lost in some of the rest of the 501st, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. But you got Gree and that haircut, which is phenomenal. We digress, but we love clones. But, yeah, and I think that's a little bit about this episode with the digression is, there's going to be a lot more meat next week, and we may even revisit some of these episodes, I think, in that conversation. Everything's coming out this week, so we're going to have this episode and another one for you guys, but I would say, that episode, I feel like you and I should just – everybody strap in, because it's going to be a long haul to Hoth. That's all, I'll say.
It's going to be a hell of a last finish for this, man. It's not just a season finale, it's a series finale, and it's going to have a lot of weight and emotion behind it. And I know we're going to be referencing this episode because there's so much that happened from within this episode between the Zillo Beast, stuff with Omega, and then Rampart getting caught by the troopers. And I know that's going to come back into play somehow. How it's going to do that, I don't know.
And also, I mean, let me say the theory that I loved. They played the clone theme at the end of that episode.
Yes, that was going to be the next thing I want to talk.
Yeah, my mind was that they're building up Echo for a death, and then I heard that theme, and I was like, that's interesting. And I read some theories online, and they said that could be the setup for a Rex and Echo show, which means we're buying a little potentially. I don't want to get your hopes up.
I think we're stretching here, but I will be very happy.
You wanted your Clone Rebellion since the day I met you.
Yes.
And I think, you know what? Fingers crossed, amigo, but they may be doing a tick with us where Echo's getting his moment because he's been a little MIA. By the way, I love that the problem with the batch was they had 2 tinkerers. You had like 2 computer guys, so they killed one, and the other one was like, I'm actually not going to hang out with you guys anymore. Yeah. And I don't know, I was like, wait, you finally eliminated staff at this company to kill redundancy. But yeah,
damn.
The old guy in the premiere of last season when he was like a tinkerer, I was like, that's just what this team needs. Another person that's good with machines. They're starting they have a small electronics startup. But
yes.
Anyway, I'll say really good episode. Do you want to do ratings on it? We got a lot to cover.
Yeah, definitely. So I love the episode. Given there was so much in there with Echo, it's always going to be a good rating for me because that's my boy. I am going to give that an 8. I loved it. Thought it had a lot of good action. Thought it had a lot of good emotion and weight behind it, and it leaves us open to something big. So I'm giving it an 8.
Can I give mine with a caveat?
All right, let's hear it.
I'm currently at like a 6.9, but if the next episode really feeds in a way that it pays off, I want to revisit my rating next week.
All right, I'll tell you what, you can fix it because it's a BS rating after you watch the season finale.
We're getting spicy. Exactly. I think after the season finale, it's like going to be the Sixth Sense. Like, right, there'll be stuff I didn't even think would come back. So yeah, I think there wasn't, again, enough meat on the bone for me. But after seeing, 2 weeks ago and then last week, I think when these come together, it's going to feel like one big movie. And then maybe I'll give an overall rating for the last 4. It's our show. I can do what I want.
No, listen, you can do what you want, bro. I think we got too spoiled with those double episodes, honestly, for too long. And I think that's what you're struggling with on these ones.
No, 100%. I think that they did that to get us to May the 3rd. For our May the 1st, for like right before May the 4th to get to this finale, which good on them. They also could have started earlier and desensitized me a little to 20 minutes a week. But, I think that's my rating, but I'll go back and we'll talk about it next week also, or later this week. Keep saying next week, later this week.
All right. And we'll see next week, man. It's going to be wild. I'm both excited and heartbroken because I don't want to see it end, but we'll see what happens with it. So
if they land the plane right, I'm at peace with it. But yeah, yes. And also everybody, another big thing this week, May the 3rd, big Hasbro announcements before we get to Collector's Corner. So get ready for that. That Pulse live stream, yes. I took off of work that day. My friends are flying in. That Pulse live stream, 11 a.m. ET. Yahtzee.
See, what sucks about it is that's the exact same time I'm going to be in Phantom Menace.
And you know what? When you come out, I'll have updated our Facebook group and everybody. We run the largest.
Just keep sending me updates via text.
I will be. Everybody, just so you know, that Eric and I and a gentleman named Brad and a guy named Ollie, we run the largest Black Series collectors group on Facebook. Star Wars : the Black Series collectors. Come check us out. Fill out the questions, or we won't let you in. But more updates on figures will come there as well, because either Brad or I, with Eric out, will be like psychopaths posting whatever comes out with us screen grabs.
Yes, absolutely. And we will link that down in the comments, in the description, so you guys can actually go check that out, where we get to show off some of the amazing things like you and I are about to show off. Now, I'm going to let you go first because you got something I really like.
Yeah. I'm sorry about this for the jealousy. So there's a preamble to this. I've never bought, and I've mentioned it on the show, I had never bought for myself a helmet. I'm not a helmet guy for Black Series, but my wonderful and amazing wife wanted to do something very special for me for Valentine's Day. So she told me my present was not coming until March. And it did come. And it is the thing that scares my dog the most. And it is this. I'm going to take I don't know if I can take my headphones off. I wanted to put it on. It is, that's not going to work.
You might want to take your glasses off.
No, man, how can I see it? This rangefinder is fake. But it is this helmet, with the little cool, I don't know if you can hear. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that but it's got the, and this guy goes down.
Dude, it just looks so good.
Oh, it is such a good helmet. And, it's my favorite helmet, I think, in Star Wars. Because the whole mythology that he soldered the Phase 2 over the Phase 1.
He did a lot of it himself, yeah.
The hash marks. This is I don't buy the expensive helmets people make on like Etsy, and this is just a goddamn work of art. And speaking of works of art, I know your first collector's corner item, but I don't know your second. So do your first. I think everybody on the show that has heard us listen to us babble will be very excited because you have spoiler alerted and preambled this so many times. And let's do it.
Yeah, so the items that I'm showing off are, this is because we're leading up to the end of the Bad Batch. I've had these for a hot minute now, and I never realized how much they would actually be worth when I first got them. So this first one is the Star Wars Black Series Hunter.
I know you've wanted that forever, dude.
Well, there's a funny story behind this one, right? So I got this, and this is like one of my first Black Series. So I went into Walmart one day, and it was kind of like right when I was getting back into Star Wars collecting, and it was this and a Bo-Katan on the shelf. It's like, oh, cool, that'll look good on my wall. Picked it up, whatever, brought it home. Cut to like 3 months later, and these things are just gone. Like you cannot find them anywhere. Yeah. I was like, what the hell? And as that same Walmart managed to get this, the next collectible I'm about to show, so we'll cut to that one in a minute, and the Bad Batch Rex, which also goes for a stupid amount of price right now. So, but yeah, so this guy is stupid hard to get your hands on right now. Love the look of them, and it's honestly just one of the best action figures I have. So,
should I just go like this and make you jealous? That whole shelf right there on the bottom is that?
Well, don't worry because the next one that I have is your boy.
Oh, I got two of that one open. Yeah. I know everybody. I'm an opener.
Yeah. So yeah, as you guys can tell, I keep these things all in the boxes because that's how I collect them. But this is another one that I picked up right when it came out, not knowing just how crazy collectible it would become compared to some of the other ones. And at the time I wasn't like really, really big on Crosshair. I was kind of like, but I was like, you know what? Let me pick them up, add them to the collection. This is one I have always wanted to bust out just because it has so much cool stuff. The rifle is different. The helmet's awesome, but I just can't bring myself to do it, only especially having the one. And, this guy for himself right now goes for probably like close to like $90 on a good day, I would say. So,
I mean, I've seen the loose ones go for like 65.
Yeah.
More shipping. So you might even get a little more of that guy out of that guy. That's changed, man. Wait, did you have a third thing? I thought you were going to show the thing.
No. So I'm gonna save that one for next week.
I have a good collectible for next week that is not Black Series.
Same.
I have a good next week. It's Saturday because it's going to be the 4th episode. I have a good collectible for next episode that I think is going to be. I saved it, and it is vintage, not vintage collection as fuck, and one of my prize pieces in my collection. So much so that I don't display it because I need to get a protective case for it.
So mine next week is going to be really cool because it's older too, and it's from Phantom Menace. So I'm excited to show that one off, and you're gonna like it. You're gonna like this.
On May the 4th. All right.
Yep. So in our next, and so this episode and the next episode should both release on May 3rd, going into May 4th. So this will be a great way for you guys to celebrate and watching this and everything. But yeah, those were our collector's corner, man. So I love the helmet, dude. Honestly, if the next one I get, I have to get that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth it. And I mean, like Eric said, 2 episodes. Saturday morning, open up a nice canister of Spotchka, have a seat on your couch, and warm up for your day of binging, which I know we're all doing. Cool.
Yes,
all right, I think
absolutely.
We're going to get into our most controversial segment, are we?
Well, really quick too, actually. So,
sorry.
No, yeah. So I actually wanted to take this time to give a quick shout out on our platform to this company that I discovered and has some really great products. So I wanted to give this shout out to this company called Gory Comics. Gory Comics. I recently seen this company has started going through their website, gorycomics.com, and I ordered some great Star Wars shirts off there. I'm actually going to go ahead post a photo down below of what it looks like and everything, because honestly it's a great quality shirt and they got tons of options on there. You can see some of their material on their Instagram at Gory Comics, and give them a follow, guys. They actually have a ton of really great stuff on there, and we've been talking with them. We plan on getting the owner of the company on the show at some point. He's a really big Star Wars guy, loves the Legend stuff. We were talking, one of the things you and I would like, we were talking big about the Shadows of the Empire stuff.
Nice.
So like when we get into one of our ones, we're not doing like Bad Batch reviews and stuff. It'll be great to get them on here just to talk Legends and shit like that.
100%. Yeah. Oh man, those are going to be exciting too. Because
So
the spoiler alerts will be different.
oh yeah,
But
different spoiler alert. So, but as you said, now we get into the Sith Happen hot takes. So you got a hot take first too, right?
yeah, I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first with mine, and you know what? I think this might piss you off a little bit, right? So,
Yep.
there's always been that debated topic of what's the best Star Wars, and it's usually like Revenge of the Sith or Empire, right? Empire.
I mean, Rise of Sky. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
Okay. Empire Strikes Back is overrated.
Come on, let's go outside.
Go outside for what?
We're gonna fight.
I am sorry, like I like it, but it's not even in my top five. It's not even in my top 5 for Star Wars
Did you
movies.
just make that up for this episode?
No, that's so. This is so. I was talking with my.
I need to do mine. Let's just go. We got 2 hours.
So yeah, no shit, right? So I was talking with my boy Dustin. I think it was last weekend, and we were just talking about that because he's like, "Oh, hey, well, what are your top Star Wars movies?" And you know, for me, it's my so like just to tell you, right? So we were talking about so my top 5 Star Wars movies. We got Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, Rogue One, and Attack of the Clones. Those are my top 5. Like Empire,
Attack of the Clones. That's my
I
second
love that. I
of all
love
movies.
Attack of the Clones.
Listen, it's lucky Rise of Skywalker happened.
No, listen. I think we could both agree on at least that we don't like those ones. But yeah, no.
Oh, wait till you get to my top 5.
Oh God, okay. So, but yeah, no, and that's just my hot take. Like, listen, I like Empire. I'm not saying that it's bad by any means. I still love it, but it's not even in my top 5. So I think it's just overhyped by a lot of people sometimes. Doesn't mean that you can't like it. Doesn't mean you can't have it in your top 5. But for me personally, not even in my top 5.
That is nuts. But you know what? I think
Brad's probably going to fight me on that one, honestly.
Yeah, I think that'll be maybe we don't post this on the Facebook page. But we've had to ban so many people for toxicity, and you may be next. No, but no, but
about to start losing followers on this page now.
Yeah. No, I think you're stupid. No, but so like I think here's
like I said, take. I still love it. It's not even in my top 5 though.
That is an age thing because I'm older than you. And I think that there's a really interesting line in The Force Awakens where Maz Kanata says, I've seen those eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing about Star Wars is you had the prequels, right? At a time where it's a children's fable. Star Wars is a children's fable about space wizards. Let's just make that very clear. And pirates and rogues and the battle versus good and evil and spirituality. It is a children's story. Yeah. And Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, albeit how dark the third is a children's story.
Yes.
And for people that saw that were, my age, the Phantom Menace came out, and I kind of liked it, but I was embarrassed. Attack of the Clones I thought was boring. I'm sorry. I think you just kind of wait till the clone sequence. But before that, I was like, whatever. I've learned to love it more. When I have my list of all the Star Wars movies, I haven't watched the bad ones. I'm doing everything this weekend coming up. But there's a moment, and I want to get to that when I get to my top 5, at the beginning of The Force Awakens, where Lor San Tekka says, this will begin to make things right. Because in the eyes of everybody, Legends, Disney, people like you hadn't gotten to internet age at a certain point, or the Clone Wars had really reached its peak, and there's a very special place in your heart that, you love all Star Wars, but that's your Star Wars. That's the Star Wars you saw. Return of the Jedi. I know it's your first love, but that's your Star Wars.
Yeah, so I'm not young enough that where I fall to the end of that prequel crowd. I was 9-10 years old when Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah.
So those prequels were really impactful. The prequel series is always going to be my favorite. I know Attack of the Clones and Phantom always get kind of a bad rap, but for me, it's always been the ones that I love the most. My feel good Star Wars, the one that I just watch to put it in the background and I can always just chill it and watch it. It's going to be Phantom Menace. Love it.
Do you know my feel good Star Wars? It's in the background of my house so much that my wife's not letting me do it in my marathon this weekend.
Solo.
Yep. It's a heist movie. It's fun. You get to see blasters and the Falcon become the Falcon, and Donald Glover's great. I think Alden Ehrenreich got a bum rap. I don't think, listen, nobody's going to be Harrison Ford. You got to kind of go in with lowered expectations on that. He was fine. There was charisma. There was line delivery. But that may be my hot take, that to me, for me, is I can put that on in the background, and it's funny. I do it. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on my phone. Goddamn, do I not rewind scenes that I was playing on my phone, when I watched it. But no, I feel you. And that's what it is. It's what was... I was 4 years old and I got shown A New Hope. So that's my Star Wars, right? And it's not that it's not your Star Wars. Yeah. That's what opened your eyes. That was your first steps into a larger world.
And I'll say this much on that one, too. I always think Solo gets a really bad rap because I enjoyed it. I thought the actor who played him was pretty good. I just think that it was in an era of Star Wars where people did a lot of trash on it.
Yeah, I mean, Last Jedi did them no favors.
No.
And I think that releasing it
that to this day is the one that I like the least.
Yeah, it's like, for me, there's stuff in it that's really good and there's stuff in it that's really bad. But I think Solo, releasing that in May was just a dumb move because you needed that full year. Star Wars is special, build the magic back. And then at the holidays, Solo would have done better. And I think also the reshoots and directors getting pulled hurt that because it came in where people were like, it's not good. First, you don't have Harrison Ford. Then you have Last Jedi. Then you have it coming out too soon. Then you have people that weren't kind of ready to receive it, and the fact that everybody knew that it got reshot entirely. And that really hurt the whole thing. And, there's room for improvement in it, but yeah. All right, so you ready? This is not a hot take, but I want to give you my top 5. By the way, we have to do this one day because we just did it. What's your top 5 in watchability? We'll do that another time, ones you revisit the most. Mm-hmm. And what's your top 5 in, Star Wars?
So that's true, because there are ones in my top 5, I will not watch them unless I could dedicate, watching.
Yeah, exactly. And there's ones that I won't dedicate time because I want them to feel more emotional. And there's ones I won't dedicate time because I've seen them so much. So there's ones that I find to be more watchable. So my top 5: Empire: A New Hope Jedi. I'm a basic bitch. Rogue One, more basic, but I think everybody can agree it's the 4th best.
Well, at least we agree on that because Rogue was my 4th too.
Number 5 is The Force Awakens.
You know what? I'm not going to give you too much crap about that because I enjoyed Force Awakens.
There are moments in Force Awakens from a writing standpoint. Let's take that ship. That's a pile of junk. Oh no, run to the quad jumper. It blows up. Let's take the pile of junk. You at that point were so enamored with this new world, you forgot that Harrison Ford was going to be in it. You forgot it was Star Wars. Pans over the tarp over the Falcon.
I thought that scene was great.
It's great. It brings a smile to your face.
that was the first thing it did, because I was waiting for it to tie it into the old Star Wars, and then that's what it first tied into, and I was like, that was great. That was a great shot.
Everybody's favorite character, the Falcon.
I'll never trash it. I know the sequel trilogy gets so much hate, and it drives me nuts sometimes because, listen, I didn't enjoy a lot of it personally, but I think The Force Awakens opened it up with a lot of opportunity and potential that The Force Awakens itself was a great movie.
Yeah, and of course it has the beats of A New Hope, but I think the point of that was they didn't have awareness that people were going to love the prequels as they got older, and there was going to be a different, kind of group or sect of Star Wars. So the reason why it feels so much like A New Hope is because they were kind of trying to say to everybody, look, this is Star Wars. We're doing Star Wars, everybody. And there's something a little pandery, but kind of earnest. And I am a sap and I am a sucker. So there's a little element of that kind of plays in for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but right. I won't trash talk it, man. I enjoyed the hell out of you all right over there?
I dropped something the dog can't get and he's floating.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say I thoroughly enjoyed Force Awakens. That's one of those ones I'll put down in the background to watch and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I watched.
But yeah, no, I like that. So now we talked about my hot take a crap ton. Do you want to get into yours, or should we save that?
Yeah, we'll get maybe. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
We'll do it quick. I've thought about this a lot. I'm sorry. I prefer new canon to Legends.
Okay, I won't knock it. Listen, there's a lot of great Legends, but at the same time, I think there's some new canon that is definitely better.
I just feel like there was a point in Legends when you get to like using Vong and everything, and I understand why people love it. Star Wars went to hard sci-fi and it lost a little of the magic. And I have a
Yeah.
huge problem with the writing in the comics and a lot of it because there's not a consistent tone to characters. Lucas really felt it was fan fiction, so he kind of like was approving shit and not caring. So there's an element of like things to me going off the rails, and I think with the benefit of Story Group over at Lucasfilm and Pablo Hidalgo's team, and kind of being able to tie everything, they know where everybody is in the galaxy at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That everything kind of feels good. I think the comics have done a great job of bringing guest stars and characters in, but I think the shows have been tasteful in a lot of ways. I know people will debate The Mandalorian, but I disagree. I think it's very well done.
I agree.
And I just feel like there's a little bit more. At some point in Legends, it lost the magic. And after Shadows of the Empire, when you get in the New Jedi Order, I love Azeroth as a character, but she's, that's their Thanos or whatever you want to call it. There's just an element of it for me. It got a little too, I'm going to argue and say like biblical. Like, right? Like, and this begat that and that begat.
I was going to say,
this stuff, everything you felt left out. And
the stuff coming out now with the Mortis gods and with in Ahsoka, and what I think is bringing in Abeloth, I definitely think it is going into that.
Abeloth.
I knew what you meant, but yeah, I think they are bringing a lot of Legends into canon, but they're taking it away from that, almost like that too dark of a feeling.
Yeah, that density that was in it. Like there's a lightness, and I like the way they bring characters in.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot within Legends that is just like, listen, some of these stories are really great and they do make great stories for adult readers, but we've talked about it a million times. Star Wars is, essentially started and is a children's fable about space wizards.
Yeah, 100%.
And some of that stuff just got a little bit too dark in Legends, and the stuff that they are bringing in now, with like they kind of did a nod to the Death Troopers with the Project Blackwing in the last episode of Ahsoka. I think that's the closest we're going to see to it, and I'm fine with that because I thought that was a cool episode. The last episode of Ahsoka, we also see them bringing in the Mortis gods with potentially Abeloth. That's a theory. Me and you will talk that in a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
But they are bringing it in a much lighter way compared to what the books and Legends has this as, because it did go to a real dark place that at that point it's really not a children's story.
No, agreed. And we'll get to it. I think that to tie it all together with Mortis, we'll do an episode in the future. Everybody's going to make Eric read something. We're going to read the Duel of the Fate script, the original close to the sequel trilogy, and you'll see again. It would have been awesome. I mean,
I have gone through a lot of it, actually.
Yeah, I've read the script. A dear friend of mine, who should go nameless, stole it for me. But we should do it and like talk through it, because there's moments and beats in that would have been just the most epic Star Wars.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll do that, but you got to read some of the High Republic.
We can do a book club.
Okay.
You be honest. All right. Yeah. So hot takes, not so much fighting. Let's just try to come up with ones we don't believe in at some point. Like, it was bullshit, Luke Skywalker. Think we can all agree. Sorry. Anyway, Darth Vader's a Mary Sue. Anyway, though, I think if that concludes hot takes.
Yeah. And honestly, I think, I think we both can agree, these are hot takes, just our opinions. We always, we respect your guys' opinions. Those of you watching the show, this is just kind of like something we have as an opinion that's probably not the same as yours. Because honestly, we accept your guys' opinions. Star Wars is different to each and every one of us. So
drop them in the comments. You know what? If you want to submit a hot take,
we'll
give you a shout out on the episode, and Eric and I will debate your hot take.
That's a great idea, actually. You know what? If you guys got these hot takes, drop them in our comments, because this will be great for him and I to debate.
Yeah, and we've got some prizes coming up, so maybe best hot take gets a prize.
Yes,
I don't know. We'll figure that out. But more to come on this brainstorm for our own show live. Yes. Segments, whatever. Send it through. Eric and I are whores for our fans, so just let us know what you want us to talk about.
Hell yeah, man! So
feedback's a gift.
Now, now we're getting towards the end of the show, brother. So, what debunks do you have for us? Because I think you had one for me.
So, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the Juggernaut episode, at the end, I told everybody that the song, the movement of orchestral music they play when Wrecker is near death and jumps onto the ship was from one of the movies. And
Yep.
Eric and I vowed that we were going to watch all of the movies. I'm not going to hum it right now because I can't remember. It's late at night where I am. But we vowed we were going to watch all of the, and said it was new as the end of a big battle. We were going to watch the end of a very big battle, and we both punked out 2 weeks in a row. And then last week, when I was sick and we were thinking we might do the show, my wife was like, let's just watch all the battles. Like, we have 2 hours, so we could just do it and get through it. And we sat down, and I leaned back, and I went, it's Return of the Jedi. It's after they blow up the Death Star. It's the music as they pan down on Endor before the pyre. So it would take 30 seconds. Yeah. So that is the debunk. And then next week, my debunk is, was there a big cool episode of Mando the week that we got the episode with the Zilla Beast Metamorphosis?
I'm curious to see what that one, what if there was one with that. So, and I'm curious with the song from Return of the Jedi, if that does, because you know how Filoni and them guys are, they like tying things in. Like, is this going to tie in some way down the road into that?
And it's maybe a little bit off. You listen to it and you do that as your debunk next week. Just watch the last 12 seconds after they blow up the Death Star, and then watch the last 12 seconds of that. And you tell me what you think, but I think that's it.
Listen, I'm telling you, one of the episodes we're going to do further down the road is strictly just about music within Star Wars, because I am so big about the scores within the movies.
Love it. Yeah.
So, all right. But anyways, man, I think that wraps us up for today. For those of you guys who are watching us today, you can follow us on Instagram at Sith Happens _ Star Wars Podcast, or on YouTube and Spotify. You can find us Sith Happens - a Star Wars Podcast. So we want to thank you guys for joining us today. And Matty, my boy, go ahead and sign us off.
Everybody out there, may the Force be with you always.
And this is the way.
I